introduction. Sorry to be the filler between the get-rich-quick schemes. That's usually not the introduction that you want as a payer. My name is Neil Parikh. I am the Senior Medical Director for Care Delivery at Oscar. Care delivery is broadly where we provide direct care to our members. This encompasses our clinic, our remote nursing, our complex care management, and then most pertinent to this week here is our telehealth and telemedicine services. So who are we at Oscar? We are a full-stack direct-to-consumer health insurer. We take a lot of pride in being full-stack. We think it's critically important to who we are as a company and what we want to deliver back to our members. We insource as much of our technology as we can, and we really use that insourcing as a mechanism to have clean, structured data, which becomes the foundational elements for multiple of our care delivery operations, which can hopefully get to the point where we are influencing outcomes. The core tenet of what we do is using engagement and technology to be the entry point into high-value healthcare. Telemedicine is a critical component of this strategy. I should say telemedicine is certainly not the only part of the strategy. We believe actually that when we think about telehealth, it's the entire digital health experience of which telemedicine is just one component. We're certainly aware that we are a long ways away from a fully digitized encounter, despite many of the presentations that have come on today and will be happening tomorrow. We realize that there is still very much a people element to the way we deliver healthcare, and it's the integration between the people component, the data component, the technology component, and the telehealth operations that actually provide this holistic and integrated approach to actually change care trajectory. So when we looked at the telemedicine landscape as a company, we really were trying to figure out how do we transition from a transactional, acute, single-shot, episodic type of care to something that is much further down the care continuum. How do we get to that place where you're talking about delivering virtual primary care or a virtual PCM, primary care medical home? We break it down to 4 distinct components. The first is member experience, value capture, comprehensive care, and operational efficiency. For the purpose of this talk, we're going to be spending a lot more time talking about the first 2 buckets. When we think about member experience, really it's all about how do we actually increase the awareness of our members of the opportunities that can be delivered through telemedicine. And then secondly, value capture. Once we actually get them into this funnel, what are we doing to capture the most value out of that engagement? Value for the member, and then certainly value also back for the company. Comprehensive care is a little bit self-explanatory. I mean, in the sense that when we think about the way telemedicine largely operates now, they tend to be, like I was mentioning, acute and episodic. And on the operational efficiency standpoint, the one thing I do kind of want to call out is we very much recognize that the core of what we are able to deliver is going to be contingent on our workforce. And when we think about operations, a big part of this is how do we keep an engaged and dynamic base of providers to actually be able to deliver the type of care in the context of the infrastructure that we are building. So what makes us a little bit different? Why do we think that we are able to actually do something different with this type of member engagement? So our direct-to-consumer model, largely through our app, our website, through our concierge services, really brings patients into this healthcare funnel. What that allows us to do is, as mentioned before, use those opportunities, or use that type of engagement interactions as opportunities to be able to direct care. And in order to actually direct care appropriately, we need to have the technology infrastructure in the background to be able to really identify what is the right care at the right place with the right provider at the right time. And as you, I'm sure, can recognize, this is not a simple process. This is the type of infrastructure that touches all aspects of the team. Understanding, capturing the data from our population health analytics, through claims, through pharmacy data integration, pushing all the way through all of our product and engineers to be able to create the type of seamless engagement and opportunities to be able to continually bring members back to us for this type of direction. So focusing in on engagement, one of the things that really does give us this opportunity, as I was mentioning, is this level of engagement that our members have. We have nearly all of our members, 80 to 90% of our members have created a digital account with us. And then if you care looking on the left side of the screen, we have significantly high percentages, certainly larger than industry standard, on different types of modalities of digital engagement. We also, in this graph, call out the 55 and plus demographic. That's twofold. One is we want to kind of strike down the notion or the misconception that our older demographics cannot engage digitally with us. And that is a very important thing to pay attention to, because obviously a lot of the healthcare that we deliver is to that subgroup. Secondly, I think we probably put this together because we are making an entry into Medicare Advantage in 2020, so we really needed to see this for ourselves. On the right side is a testament to why we think telemedicine is not the entirety of our digital health strategy, but a single component of it. We understand that in order to deliver better care, it is providing a holistic approach to it. And we see that folks who engage with us through even our concierge services, our human-to-human interactions, are able to then be funneled to into more telemedicine types of interactions down the road. And this type of engagement actually allows us to influence the care that's being delivered. As you can see on the left side, members trust us to actually help them find the right doctor. Folks who engage with us digitally use us the significant and growing percentage of time to actually find the types of doctors that we are able to direct them to. And when we are able to do that, we actually lower the cost of care, because even though we are able to direct to actually even a smaller subset of high-value physicians within our network, which is what the right side of the screen is demonstrating. And eventually, this type of care routing actually plays itself out with telemedicine as well. The type of infrastructure that we have built that allows us to understand our patients better allows our virtual providers to be able to make more informed decisions or help patients make more informed decisions about where they seek care. Our rate of referrals is significantly lower than that of vendors to ERs or specialist groups. And what we have seen also is that year over year, the proportion of common conditions that we're able to actually handle via telemedicine has consistently gone up. Specifically in the area of flu, the percentage of flu claims handled by telemedicine has gone up relative to in-person claims year over year, in-person encounters. So how do we actually do this? Getting back to that slide a little bit earlier, the two major components of how we do this is one, member experience, and then second, value capture. On the member experience front, the very critical component to this is making it easy and simple and seamless for our members. They are able to access Doctor on Call, their virtual telemedicine services, right through the app. We take a lot of pride in having consistent branding, having a very easy to use, simple system, and carrying that type of interaction carrying that type of consistency throughout the interaction. Our members can engage with virtual providers through either text messaging or calls, and in the not too distant future, we will be expanding the different types of modalities of those types of interactions. The second aspect of this, and which is what we believe is actually fundamentally the most interesting opportunity at Oscar, is that component of value capture. And value capture is largely driven by our ability, by the data that we are able to capture, and then the analytics that we're able to layer on top of that. What this is showing you is an exercise that we did not too long ago to try to identify signals within our member engagement that might be able to tip us off or clue us into a future healthcare interaction, and in this particular case, an ER visit. And what we saw is that across various different modalities of interaction, there were spikes by members who eventually ended up in the ER within that same week. So what do you do with that information? We took it and we actually created a clinical alert and outreach system that captured that took advantage of what we perceive this to be, an opportunity to direct care to the right place. So in real time, these types of signals are then routed back to our concierge and clinical teams to then be able to do proactive outreach to these members to identify whatever is the healthcare concern or issue that's going on. If the opportunity presents itself during this intake process to escalate to a physician, we are able to then in real time route to one of our virtual providers. That is right up on time, but basically the takeaway that I'd like to leave you all with is that telemedicine is one component of a larger digital health strategy. We think that we'll be able to drive more value through our telehealth and telemedicine interactions because of the rest of the digital infrastructure that it lives within, particularly our data and our in-person teams that are able to provide both supplementary and complementary care to what our telemedicine providers are able to do. Thank you again for the time and the opportunity to speak with you all.
Some question. Okay.
Can I ask a basic question? Because you assumed that we knew what a full stack was, and where's Oscar based? I'm trying to look, but the internet is not working right now.
Sure. So Oscar, Oscar headquarters is in New York. We are currently in 6 states, and we're going to be expanding into 9 states as of 2019. California is one of our markets, one of our states, and the 3 markets that we are in California are Orange County, Los Angeles, and San Francisco.
I'm in Orange County. I've heard of you, but I didn't know.
So the primary place that you would possibly engage with Oscar is in the individual market currently. Our company started right around the same time as the ACA started, and we are one of the insurers on Obamacare or the marketplace. We also do have a small group product as well for small businesses, and in 2020 we'll be launching into Medicare Advantage. I will definitely be here afterwards. Thank you. Not leaving.
Any other questions?
Sure. So you mean from with our virtual providers? Yes. So as a consumer, the way you would actually, as a consumer, how you would get into our digital health platform would be by being a member of our insurance. So this is all the features that we laid out over here are for our members. And the face-to-face component of it is that the types that we have face-to-face interactions include at our Oscar clinic, where we service Oscar members as well. And we also have complex care management teams that are deployed strategically in our sickest markets that will meet the patients wherever they are, whether it's in an acute setting all the way down to the home, to be able to provide a coordinated case management. It is. Yeah, the 2 arms of Oscar are core insurance, and then a second arm, which is where I plug in, or I was describing, is what we call care delivery. So how do we actually provide direct care to the members that are covered by our insurance?
Could you describe how you're using wellness and prevention, both kind of telehealth-wise and physically?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will say wellness and prevention is we have a lot of opportunity there. It's a rich space for us. Where we have sort of inserted ourselves or provided opportunities back to our members include right off the bat, as part of your engagement or part of your sign up to the Oscar platform, simple health survey, health assessment, which helps identify wellness and prevention types of opportunities. Not too dissimilar to what you've probably experienced in other types of spaces. We have a step tracker integration where we, right on the interface in the app, helps kind of pay attention to the steps that you're taking with incentives along the way, reimbursements and rebates that can happen once you cross certain thresholds. But when we really think about what the opportunities that the type of member engagement that we have allows us, it's largely in that space. Members come to us with healthcare questions. And the goal is to be able to take those moments, those interactions, those questions, and capitalize them on being more proactive with the type of healthcare opportunities, largely around wellness and prevention, back to our members, that they can, we can then hopefully guide them through.
So Neil, so we have a bunch of like service provider, tech companies. I'm pretty sure all of them would love to do business with Oscar. Do you have any tips for the audience? How do they work with you guys?
This sounds like a self-interested question. So, I think one of the things that we're very cognizant of is that we can't do it all. And I think that there is certainly the appetite to try to tackle all aspects of healthcare, but would fully recognize that there are multiple vendors, players, technology partners out there that are developing very deep knowledge in whatever their spaces are. And we welcome those opportunities. We recognize that as we build out our platform, the more that we are able to plug in the types of technologies that are going to be able to provide data to better inform all the things that I was showing you, we should be engaging with them. I will say parts of this is making sure, parts of some of the challenges about these types of interactions have been our very, very deep fidelity to owning the entire member experience, making sure that when someone is engaging with Oscar, no matter how it is that wherever it is that we route them to, they still feel the Oscar presence along the way. We think that's what allows us to bring members back for the next round of questions or the next type of healthcare situation. So there has to be an appetite from any of our technology partners to be able to engage with that level of white labeling.
Got it. Thank you so much, Neil. That was awesome talking there.
All right. Thank you.